Hello everyone. Today we are going to see a new topic called Unicast routing in third unit. So first we will see what is Unicast. So Unicast is nothing but it is a transmission from a single sender to a single receiver. So it is a transmission from Unicast. By the name itself you can understand it is a transmission from a single sender to a single receiver. Okay, so we can say it is a point-to-point communication between a sender and the receiver. So we can say it is a point-to-point communication between a sender and receiver. Okay, this is your unicast. So what do you mean by unicast routing? So here in the internet you have large number of routers and all the host or connected to all the routers, right? So here in unicast routing, source host, there is a source host and you have your destination host. Okay, so source and destination host. So this source host needs no forwarding tables, needs no forwarding table. Likewise, over here, usually we'll have a forwarding table. By looking in the forwarding table, we will forward the packets. And destination host will also needs no forwarding table. So how they will send the packet? So here, how they will send the packet is first they will deliver the packet to a default router. So there will be a default router. So to the default router they will deliver the packet. So this default router will deliver the packet to the one more default router which is connected to the destination. Okay, and from there this packet will be delivered to the destination host. This is how the transmission takes place in unicast routing. So there will be a default router which is connected to the source host and there will also a default router which is connected to the destination host. Source host will deliver the packet to this default router which will be connected to another default router of the destination which will send the packet to the destination host. So here the default router will have the forwarding table. It may make use of forwarding tables and both the default routers, it uses a forwarding table, it will deliver the packets. So only the routers will glue and they will connect to each other and they will send the packet. This routing of packet from the source to destination is from the source router to the destination router, we can call it as unicast routing. Usually unicast means there will be one sender and one receiver. Here also we have one sender and receiver, but in routing it will not directly send it to the destination host. It will send it to the default router from where it is going to send. Okay, these default routers will have the forwarding tables to forward the packets. So now we will see how we will find the best route. In this you can see this diagram. So here internet can be modeled, can also as a graph. Over here this X represent the routers. These are the routers which are connected via LAN or otherwise it can be connected via WAN. Okay, so here we are going to represent this internet as a graphical notation where routers are represented as nodes. So here the router is represented as nodes A, B, then C, and you have here D, and this side you have E, and here it is F, and here it is G. Okay, these are the nodes. The routers can be represented as nodes, and all your LANs networks which has been connected between the routers, you can call it as edges over here. These are all the edges. Okay. And here also you have LAN. So these are the edges. And you can consider these routers as cities and the distance between the cities as roads connecting the two cities. So there will be a distance will be there between the two cities, and you can consider that the distance as a cost. So the cost is the distance between the two cities is 2 over here. Here it is 5 and here it is 3, 5, 2, 4, 4, 1, 3. 1, it represents that the distance between the two cities is very less. If this is 4, the distance is more. This represents the cost that is associated between the two cities. The cost is nothing but the distance between the two cities. So we can represent this internet as a weighted graph. This graph is called as weighted graph because we are associating the weights to the edges. That is why it is called as weighted graph. Okay, now we will see the next topic called least cost routing. How we are going to find out the least cost routing with the help of this internet. Okay, now we will see the least cost routing in this unicast routing. Okay, so what do you mean by least cost routing? It is nothing but finding the least cost path between a node to all other nodes in the network is called a least cost routing. So finding a least cost path or otherwise route from a source node to all other nodes in the network is called as least cost routing. Okay, so from this node, suppose if you are considering this A as a source node, you have to find out the least cost from this node to all other nodes in the network is called as least cost routing. So for this, we are going to find out a least cost tree. So what do you mean by least cost tree is? Least cost tree, it is a tree with the source router as a root, and in which the path between the root and any other node is the shortest. Okay, so it is least cost tree is a tree with source router with source node as the root. We have to consider that source node as the root, and in which the path between the root node and a root node to the other nodes is shortest. Okay, this is called the least cost route. Okay, now what we are going to do is we are going to find out the least cost tree for every path. Okay, first we will consider this A as a source node. When A is considered as a source node, so when we have to connect with the A itself, the cost involved is 0. When we want to connect from A to B, the cost involved is 2 over here. Okay, when we want to connect from A to C, so from A to C, the minimum cost involved is there is only one route over here, so it is 5 plus 2 is 7. So we are writing here 7. Okay, and next when we want to connect the source node to this node called D, the cost involved is 3 over here. So we are writing here 3. When we want to connect this A with E, so here A with E, so here the cost involved over here is, so since if you consider this with E, so here the route over here, when we are going to follow the path A, D, E, the total cost involved is 8. When we are going to follow this path A, B and E, the cost involved is 6. So the total cost here it is 8 and here it is 6. So we will take the minimum cost. So we will follow this path itself, A, B and E. So A, B and E, it is having the cost called 6. So when we want to connect with A to the node F, if you see over here, so 3 plus 5 it is 8, 8 plus 2 is 10. Okay, when we are going to follow this particular path A, B, E, F, so it is here it is 2 plus 4, 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. So we will follow this path itself. So it is 8. Okay, when we want to connect with from A to G, the minimum cost involved over here is, so here if you go here, if you follow the path A, B, C, G, it will be 2 plus 5, 7, 7 plus 3 is 10. Okay, suppose if you are going this path, 2 plus 4 is 6, 6 plus 2 is 8, 8 plus 1 is 9. So the minimum cost is following the path A, B, E, F, G. So this will be 2, 6, 8 and this one here it is 9. So this is the least cost tree for the when considering this A as a source node. Similarly, we are going to find out the least cost tree when B is considered as the root node. Okay. Now we have found out the least cost tree for the source node, by considering source node as B like this, and by considering source node as C, we have got the least cost tree like this. And for D, and here it is for E, and this is for F, and this is for G. So here we have drawn several least cost tree by considering the source node from A to G, and we are going to find out the least cost path from the source node to all other nodes inside that network. So by using this, we can able to find out the best route for finding out the shortest path between the two routers. Okay, this routing is called as least cost routing. In least cost routing, we will find out the least cost route that is involved by traversing from the source node to all other nodes inside the network. Okay, this is all about your least cost routing. After we have discussed on least cost tree and the forwarding tables in the last session, now we are going to deal with routing algorithms. So there are three common routing algorithms which is available. The one is distance vector routing algorithm, distance vector routing. The second one is path vector routing. And third one is linked state routing. So we are going to see all these three routings in this section. Okay. So now we will see into distance vector routing. In distance vector routing, what happens is, first we need to find out the least cost tree. Okay, we need to find out least cost tree for every node, and we need to exchange this least cost tree with the immediate neighbors. Okay, and this information will be continuously, it will be circulated among all the nodes inside the network. Okay, so before going to distance vector routing, we need to discuss on two important topics. One is Bellman-Ford equation, other one is distance vector. So this distance vector routing, it uses Bellman-Ford equation to find out this least cost. So for example, what does this Bellman-Ford equation says is, so if you want to find out the least cost between X and Y, so there is a cost involved between X and A is CXA, the cost involved is CXP, and here the cost involved is CXC. And the distance involved between A and Y is DAY, and here the distance is DBY, and the distance is DCY. So now we need to find out the least cost between X and Y using Bellman-Ford equation. So the equation says that the distance between X and Y, that will be find out the minimum, the shortest path between DXY can be found out by the minimum of, so minimum of C. So if you are going to follow the first route, it will be CXA plus DAY. So CXA plus DAY, comma, or you have to follow this particular middle path CXB plus DBY, or you are going to follow the third path, that is CXC plus DCY. So this is the equation for finding out the shortest path between X and Y. The shortest path between X and Y can be found out with this Bellman-Ford equation. The equation says that you have to find out the minimum cost involved between the first route or second route or third route. Okay, so using this concept, we will find out the least cost and we will find out the distance vectors. So now we will find out the distance vector. So in distance vector routing, first we need to find out the distance vector. So first what we have to do is that for every internet given for you, so you have to find out the least cost tree. So for the node A, the least cost tree is this one. So A, it can be reached to D with the distance 3, and from A to B the distance is 2, from A to E the distance is 6, and from A to F it is 8, and from A to G it is 9. So this is the least cost tree for the with respect to the node A. Okay, so for this, how will you find out the distance vector is? It is nothing but the same least cost. So from A, you have to put all the nodes inside that, all the nodes in the network. So from A to A the distance is 0, from A to B the distance is 2, so we are mentioning here. From A to C the distance is, from A to C the distance what we have given is 7, so we are mentioning here. Likewise, we have to find out the least cost between A to all other nodes. This is what the distance vector for node A. So likewise, we need to find out the distance vector for all the other nodes. after finding the distance vectors, you need to transmit this distance vector to the nearest neighbors. Okay, so after transmitting it, this B will updates the distance vector, and what it will do is that it will recalculates the distance vector based on the Bellman-Ford algorithm. Okay, we will see how we are going to do this. Coming to the node A, so here node A, it can reach with the distance 0, and for the B, the directly it is connected, so the distance is 2. For the C, it is indirectly connected through B, so we will write the value to be infinity. And from A to D, it is directly connected, the value is 3. Other values we will give it as infinity, since we are connecting via some other intermediate nodes. So this is what the initial distance vector what we get. Likewise, we will find out the distance vector for every node. So likewise for the B, so from A the distance is 2, from B to B it is 0, and from B to C, if you want to go, the distance is 5. From B to D, the distance is infinity, since there is no direct contact, and from B to E, it is distance will be 4, and again from B to F it is infinity, and B to G it is infinity. Likewise, we will do it for all other nodes. So now what we have done is we have created an initial distance vector for every node. So after each node has created its own distance vector, it will send a copy of the vector to all its immediate neighbors. Okay, after every node receives a distance vector from its neighbor, it updates its distance vector using a Bellman-Ford algorithm. Okay, so after updating, then that is what the least cost between all the nodes. Okay, we will see how it is updating the distance vector. So in the previous case, what we have done is, like, simply we are finding out the initial, this is a network which is given for you. So we will find out the initial distance vector by finding this node as a source node, and we'll find out the least cost between all other nodes. So here, if you are having a direct route, we will write the same distance. But if you are having an indirect route, like intermediate neighbors between, then we will set the value to be infinity. Like we will do it for all the other nodes. We will find out the distance vector for all the other nodes. So now what we have to do is we have to send this distance vector to the nearest neighbors. So now, for example, if B is receiving this, wants to update the distance vector. So initially it is having a value 2, 0, 5, infinity. So if you see this B, it is having a value 2, 0, 5, infinity, 4, infinity, infinity. So I am writing it over here, 2, 0, 5, infinity, 4, infinity, infinity. So what I have to do is I have to use Bellman-Ford algorithm to update its value. Since we have set the value to be infinity, so we have to update it. So now new value of B, it can be got by the minimum of this old value, comma, twice. So from A to B, the distance over here, if you see this, from A to B, the distance given is 2. So 2 plus the distance vector of A, we will get, so 2 plus distance vector of A, or otherwise the B value, minimum of either these two values will give you the new B vector, distance vector. So how will you find that the new distance vector? That will be the minimum value of either B, or otherwise 2 plus A of distance vector will give you the value. So first we will write what is A of 0, A or A vector. A vector, it is having 0, 2, infinity, 3, infinity, infinity, infinity. So we will write over here 0, 2, infinity, 3, infinity, infinity, infinity. So what we have to do is we have to find out the minimum value of this, or otherwise 2 plus A of 2. So if you add this 2 over here, you will get 2 here, plus 2 you will get 4. This is infinity. 3 plus 2 is 5. This is infinity, infinity, infinity. So what we have to do is we have to compare this old B value and 2 plus A vector value. So you have to find out the minimum value, and you will find out the new B distance vector. So which is the minimum value over here? 2, 2 is 2 here. When you compare 0 and 4, the minimum value is 0 here. And 5 and infinity, the minimum value is 5. When you compare infinity and 5, the minimum value is 5. And 4 and infinity, it is 4. Infinity and infinity, it is infinity. And here is also infinity. So this is your new distance vector. 2, 0, 5, 5, 4, infinity, infinity. So what happens over here is, here the infinity value has been updated by a new distance value called 5. Likewise, we need to, this is the first event when B receives a copy of A. Likewise, we need to do it for the nearest neighbors also. Now B has received, this is the distance vector when B receives a copy from A. Okay, copy of A's distance vector. Okay, A's vector. Now this is the first event. The second event is when B receives, this is B receives a copy of E's vector, okay, from E. Okay, when it is receiving the value distance vector from E, you can see this B is also connected with E. So this B will also get the distance vector from E, and it has to update its own distance value. So from E to B, the distance is 4 over here. So what we write is the minimum value we will take B, or otherwise we will add 4 plus E vector of E, that is E, will give you the new B distance vector. So we will find out whether the old B value or otherwise a minimum value of 4, there is a 4 distance which is involved between B and E. 4 plus E we will get B. So we will find out the minimum value. So in the old value what we have got is 20554 infinity. So we will write it over here, 20554 infinity. Okay, this is old B. So what is E value? E value, what we have got, it is over here, it is infinity. This is 4 infinity, then 5 0 to infinity. Okay, this is what your E value. So for this you have to add 4. So when you add 4, it is infinity. 4 plus 4 is 8. Okay, and here it is infinity, and this is 9. This is 0, and 4 plus 2 is 6, and this is infinity. So you have to find out the minimum value between these two. When you compare this 2 and 8, the minimum value is 2 here. Minimum value between 0 and 8 is 0. 5 and infinity is 5. 5 and 9 is 5. And 4 and 0 is 0. Okay, and infinity and 6 is 6, and infinity is infinity. Okay, this is what your new B vector. Here 0 plus 4 is 4, so it will be 4 over here. So this is what the new B vector you will get. Okay, so after it receives the value from B, from A, it is getting this new distance vector. Likewise, when it is receiving a distance vector from E, it is updated its distance value, and now this value has been converted. If you see this infinity value, this has been changed to 6. Likewise, it will also get a distance vector from C also. So when it is getting, so B itself, it is getting distance vector from nearest neighbor. It has to update its distance vector. At last, it will get a new distance vector value. So that is how it is finding out the least cost between that node to all other nodes. Okay, this is what your distance vector routing algorithm. So in distance vector routing algorithm, what we have to do is, so for this node, for the internet which has been given, you have to find out the distance vector like this. The distance vector can be found out by setting this node, and you have to find out the distance between the nearby nodes. So initially we will set the nearest neighbors and we will find out the distance vector, but if you are having the neighbors are far from this source node, we will set the value to be infinity. So this is your initial distance vector. After doing this, every node will send this distance vector to the nearest neighbors. When it is sending to nearest neighbors, nearest neighbors also will update its distance vector. So how it updates it is based on Bellman-Fold algorithm. So if the old value, it will compare it with it will take the A's distance vector, it will add that distance, and with this it will find out the minimum value. With this it will find out the new distance vector. Likewise, it will receive the distance vector from other neighbors, it will update its distance vector, and it will set all, instead of infinity, all the values will be set to some value. So this is how it will be finding out the distance vectors from that particular node to all other nodes. Okay, you understood this? We'll see what is the problem involved in distance vector routing. The first problem is count to infinity. What is count to infinity is, if a link is broken, okay, you think that if link is broken between the two nodes, okay, where the cost is infinity over here, cost becomes infinity now. So every router should be aware of it immediately. But in distance vector routing, it takes some time to propagate this information to all other nodes. This problem is called as count to infinity. Okay, so what is count to infinity? So if the link is broken, immediately that value to be the cost value will become infinity. But in distance vector routing, it takes more time to transmit this information to the nearby nodes. This problem is called count to infinity. So the next problem in distance vector routing is two node loop stability. So what I mean by two node loop stability is, like here you have three nodes which is being connected, x to a, which is having a distance cost value involved is 2. From a to b it reaches the cost involved is 4. Okay, so a maintains a forwarding table where to reach x the distance is 2 is written over here. In b the x to reach x distance is 4 plus 2, it is 6 through a. Okay, this is what before failure. Now think that x, the link between x and a fails. Once the link between x and a fails, suddenly this a will updates its forwarding table to infinity. Okay, x infinity 0. But actually a has to send this information to b. But if this a has sent this information to b, everything is fine. Okay, but however it fails to send this information to b. Now b will send this forwarding table information to a, saying that b has found, a thinks that b has found a new route to x. Okay, new route to x, that it says that from to reach x the distance is 6 plus 4 10. Okay, now what happens is x will update this information over here. Instead of infinity it will update that. So x to reach x through via b, it requires the value, it needs a distance value called 10. So 6 plus 4 10, it will updates its forwarding table in a. So now what happens is, again this a will send a new information to b, saying that I have found one more information, I have found a new update that to reach x the value will be through b will be 10 plus 4 14. So now this b will update this information x 14. Okay, likewise the both a and b will update this information. At last it reaches both the values reaches infinity and infinity. It goes once if both the values gets infinity. So here what happens is, this problem is called as two node loop problem. So here, so the packets bounce between a and b, creating a two node loop problem. This problem is called two node loop problem. So if the a has sent immediately this information to b, everything would have been fine. But now what happens is, a will get the information b, and again a will send the new update to b. Likewise both the two nodes will be updating its value. Since this updation packets will be bounced between the two nodes, we can say that this problem is called two node loop problem. So there are two problems we are facing in distance vector. One is count to infinity, the second one is two node loop problem. Your distance vector routing. So in this video we have seen what is unicast routing. Unicast routing is nothing but transmission from a single sender to a single receiver. So in this we have seen the general concept of least cost routing, how to find out the least cost tree, and then we came into a distance vector routing. This can be done with the help of Bell-Manford algorithm. First we have seen the basics of Bell-Manford algorithm, how to find out the equation for this Bellman, and we found out one internet. After given any internet is given for you, you need to find out the initial vectors, and after which all the distance vectors will be transmitted to the nearest neighbors, and each nearest neighbor will update this distance vector using Bell-Manford algorithm. Okay, and we have seen the problems faced in distance vector. One will be count to infinity, the other one is two node loop problem with the help of this diagram. Okay, thank you.